what kind of headspace do you have to think this is a fucking achievement from Xbox Live or something? Man, I don't know what it is. Maybe the internet might just be a poison for some people. But EDP has a whole lot of sons running around on this website, with Cyrus is okay being one of them. I wonder if he's really okay after all of these allegations that came out. He would even make a video himself covering everything that happened and upload an apology to his channel, leaving all of his content deleted right after. Cyrus would be 14 to 15 and he would blow up on YouTube, and more often than not with that happening, you would have a lot more access to doing things that you wouldn't normally be able to do. And in some cases, you may just have more access to women, whether it be a newfound confidence from your own success or people just liking your status, and a whole lot more factors than what I can really mention. But long story short, the guy was successful and young, and so that means he has a lot of potential. And so this guy would realize his potential in dating in a pretty terrible way. He would lie to women on Discord and lead them on, and not only that, but he would also talk to young girls. More specifically, he would talk to a 12-year-old while he was 16, which you can probably find an arguable case for, but I think it's pretty gross. He would continue talking to this 12-year-old for 3 years. He would end up being a 19-year-old talking to a 15-year-old. And if it can't get any worse, he would be on video saying that he would be sexting this girl who is younger than him. And he would admit that he was too old for her and that it was weird for even associating with her. I don't know what it is with people being big YouTubers and then ending up being some kind of weirdo beneath it all. I don't know how or why they let it get to their head, and to be honest, I don't even think I want to at this point, especially if people are gonna do crazy shit like this. But I think the fact that Cyrus is so well aware of his age and knowing that things are wrong and then continuing to do these things, I don't know how many times, just shows how fucked this guy really is. And if you're already feeling guilty and so very accepting of anything that can come to you, it becomes very hard for anyone to believe that this guy has any type of chance anymore. From most of my experience, I usually see YouTubers argue their case or anything along those lines, but here, he really may just be this down bad and he knows it. And the guilt is most likely the thing that is making him take these kind of actions. It's actually just terrible, man, because he would end up cheating on his ex 10 times. And he would end up using women and children for his desires, and eventually drop them after he would receive nudes. And this is all from the information that we've received. But any kind of counterpoints to all of this crazy shit that I'm talking about don't really exist, because it looks like he just gave up. Could he end up coming out and just proving everyone wrong in the future? Who knows, but honestly, I doubt it. Now, it really makes you question, is this the clout effect, or was this guy just a weirdo to begin with? Everyone without a doubt has skeletons in their closets, with some being worse than others, but honestly, it definitely takes a certain kind of person to be so hung up on online sex. He's just talking to all of these girls over the internet, right? And he completely dismisses the fact that there are other human beings behind the computer screen. So it seems minuscule to him. It seems like doing any of this wouldn't have any real consequences. But little would the guy realize is that the gratification and satisfaction that he would get from doing this was definitely real. So why would the consequences be any different? I hate to say it, but obviously his YouTube definitely played a big role when it came to getting these girls, because you could see the guy promising them opportunity, futures. As he mentioned, he would lead them on. And if he didn't have such an amazing thing like YouTube going for him, what could he really lead them on with outside of himself? Now, if you want my personal opinion, if this guy has to do e-dating or whatever to get any form of satisfaction on just his own 2 feet, he probably had nothing to offer, which is why the internet would be such a great safe space for him to talk to all of these girls. Honestly, I think that is cringe. I think I'm the man. I talk to like 20 different bitches from like 10 servers, and I'm just a piece of shit. I got drunk sexting this one girl. I'm so horrible. I'm sorry, but I just can't help but have a tear of disappointment roll down my fucking face. Honestly, it's really for the best that he stays off the internet, because this just sounds like an unhealthy attachment to the internet. And if you want to take into consideration that he got popular on YouTube at a young age, it only makes more sense because obviously this guy grew up on the internet. I don't know him, of course, but honestly, this would be my speculation from everything that I've learned about him. To hurt the hearts of many girls on the internet and be so in tune with YouTube, it only makes sense. Because those two things I just listed are just going to keep you on your computer regardless. And to tap into this possibility a little bit more, he used to be a furry role player on Amino, and I think this screams an over-attachment to internet culture through and through. He would even admit to having to stay off the internet himself, and his friend Poncho would even say that he's on the internet a shit ton, so there's that. I'm not even gonna hold you. This guy kind of irritates the shit out of me for even like relatively developing an ego or even feeling himself for talking to girls on the internet. Honestly, what kind of headspace do you have to think this is a f***ing achievement from Xbox Live or something? Like, you have to be really low to think that finding validation through anyone on the internet sexually means anything. Of course, this can expand to topics broader than just sex, but other than that, I can't help but just feel a little bit annoyed about all this. I don't know what it was, but I think I finally put the final nail in the coffin. It's his woe is me attitude. It's just really annoying with him saying, I'm such a terrible person, this. I broke this girl's heart, that. I hate to break this to anyone, but he gets no bitches. And I'm sorry for any of the girls online that he did treat scummy. I just find it irritating that the guy thinks he's sweet for talking to girls on the internet, when that should be the furthest thing to be having an ego from. That should be the furthest thing to be feeling good about, especially when there are younger girls that are very impressionable. Don't get me wrong, sometimes an online relationship can actually be a real thing and actually work, but to be and feel like a badass over doing such a thing is really just asinine. And obviously he feels bad about everything, as he should, but leading up to all of this and all of his faults, I'm pretty sure he thought he was the man, when really it is the exact opposite. Honestly, I'm embarrassed for him, and I'm not even the guy in this situation. Sometimes you really just need to disconnect.